guys. So this seems to be like the time of year where I start getting a lot of questions about taxes. And I want to start this training, first of all, by saying I am not an accountant. I did not go to school for accounting. I don't know tax law or changes in taxes or anything like that. So please know going into this is only from my experience. And honestly, I would suggest that you use an accountant. When I first started my Scentsy business, I did not use an accountant. I think the first year I was able to still use TurboTax. And the second year, as my business grew and got more complicated, we did start using an accountant. And I would highly recommend that, especially as your business grows. You want to be sure, number one, that you're not making mistakes, and number two, that you are getting the benefits that you can get from owning your own business, which is one of the great things about having a Scentsy business, is that you are able to use write-offs and declare business expenses and things like that employees aren't. So you may have noticed that when we get paid, we get the full amount of our commission check. They don't take taxes out. They don't take Social Security out or anything like that, which means at the end of the year, if you've earned over $600 on your commissions, you will get what's called a 1099. And Scentsy will put that in your account tab. So by the end of January. So they might email us and let us know if you have one in there, but you can just always check the account tab and it will say, 1099 for 2018, and that's where it will be. It will show up in your account tab. And then at that time you can download it and either, take that to your accountant or use that for TurboTax or however you do your taxes. Take it to H&R Block or whatever. So that being said, if you didn't earn over $600 this year, you don't have to declare it. I would talk to your accountant again about the possibility of still using your write-offs, or if you want to declare what you earned and then use your write-offs. So what are write-offs? Again, this is something that you will want to talk to a professional about, but basically they are things that you spend your money on to make your business run, to help you earn money, to earn that revenue. You have expenses, right? And some of those expenses are what it would be called business-related expenses, and they can be used as write-offs. So I'm going to go through some categories of things that might be helpful. I will also want to inform you, can you tell this scares me? Because I don't want to give you bad advice. I just want to, but I do want to help you because we have lots of questions. And when I started, I didn't know any of this either. And I've learned along the way, and I'm going to keep learning as the years go by. But I want to share with you what I know, so maybe I can save you a little bit of learning, right? So maybe it's hard now because you didn't know this in 2018, but you can start in 2019 keeping really good track of all of your business-related expenses. So broad categories of business-related expenses. I'm going to talk about that real quick, and then we'll bring it into some examples. Of course, it's not going to be an exhaustive list of all examples. And then if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll help as best as I can. I still text my accountant and ask her questions, and all accountants are going to do this a little differently. And so it's important to establish a good relationship with your accountant and for us, the more she's gotten to know my business and how it works, the easier it's gotten, I think, for both of us. And so if you can find an accountant who is familiar with this type of a business, you might be off to a good start. Okay, so some general expenses you want to think about are materials and supplies, Okay. Advertising. Car and truck expenses. I'll get back to that in a little bit. Commissions. I'm not sure what that is. See, this is from our last year's, but I'll go back through it and help you out with it too. Okay. Dues and subscriptions, insurance, other than health. So like that's my life insurance goes there. Other interests not noted elsewhere. Parking. Postage. There's a lot of things on here, which these are business-related expenses that other businesses have that she does their taxes for. So she sends me this little sheet so I can kind of fill it out and I can see what I put down on there last year. But so there's more on here that maybe you have those expenses. I just typically don't, or other businesses do. Okay. Printing, if you had any printing expenses, that might be one that's on there. Your phone, part of your phone, if you use it for your business. Travel. Meals. So if we go out for our holiday party and I buy the meal at Tamarack Brewing Company, that's a business-related expense that I can put down. I think you can write off 50% of it. You don't get to write off all of it, but as an example, that might be something. If you take someone out to coffee to share the business opportunity, you save that receipt. That might be something that you could use as a business-related expense. Okay? Gifts, displays, conference fees. So those are things, my displays are things like when the catalog changes and I purchase the new warmers so I can show them at parties. That would be display. When I purchase a washer whiffs to show at parties, that would be display. Gifts would be gifts for the team, gifts for hostesses, gifts for party goers, you know, keeping really good track of all of that. Even if you are, let's say you're pulling from your stock, right? And you give away a room spray and you give away a bar at a party, you're going to want to write down that you gave away $8 and $14 worth of product at that party. That's helping drive your business. It's helping promote your business. It's a gift. It's a business-related expense. Okay? Conference fees are going to World Tour, going to Reunion. Those are business-related expenses, so I'm able to put them as write-offs. Internet, a portion of the internet, because a portion of it is used for my business, a portion of it is personal use. So again, that's where I would really recommend an accountant, because figuring all that stuff out, we don't know, but she helps me with all of that. Event fees, those are my fees for setting up at the little events that I do. Training, that's anything that I invest in training either for myself or for you guys. And then my car, that guy's different. So, okay. And then, okay, car and business use of home. Those are two things I want to talk about really quick. So, in years past, for my car, we wrote off miles. So we kept track of our miles, total miles driven, and business miles. So you have a little notebook or something like that. When you get in your car, you write down what your start mile is and what your end mile is, and you write down if you're making deliveries, those miles go on your business-related miles. If you are going to the grocery store, maybe not, right? If you're going to the grocery store to get food for your Scentsy party, then it's a business-related mileage, okay? So you can keep track of your miles, and that will really help. I am now depreciating my vehicle when I bought a new vehicle last year. So in the past, we always did miles. Now, this year, we're doing depreciation. This might be too much information, but again, this is why it's important to talk to your accountant, because if you purchase a new vehicle that is primarily used for business and you have another vehicle that you use, that might be an option. Okay, so that's different. So then, in this case, I have to keep track of gas expenses, oil changes, tires, repairs, insurance, registration, before we gave her our registration info too. So, but these are all things that it's actually a really good perk, because when you aren't a business owner, these may not be things that you can write off on your taxes. So keep that in mind, folks. Business use of home. I have heard mixed reviews about business use of home. So again, I'll stress it. Talk to an accountant about it. They're going to have different opinions. Our accountant suggests using business use of home. So we take our total square footage of our house. We take the portion of that square footage that is used for the office, and then we're able to divide things like utilities and internet, like I said, and all of that, because it's a business use of home. Some accountants don't like that because I think, actually, I don't know why they don't. Our accountant does. So we listen to her. She goes to bat for us. So if anything were to come up and we were to get audited, or, something were to come into question from us, we have her as, this is why I chose this path for them. So it's a sense of security. Yes, we have to pay her to do our taxes. And that also goes on here somewhere, right? But that's why we use it. So those are a couple things. Some other things that she writes off for me are nights away. So you can keep track of your food expenses when you go to Quinn's for our Sensi retreat and you buy your dinner. You can keep track of that money that you spent, or you can do nights away. So I do nights away because, and probably most of you would too, because we don't eat probably as much as the allotted amount for nights away. So if I go to Anaheim for 4 nights for Sensi Family Reunion, I just mark that down as I'm gone for 4 nights away. Then again, we want to talk to her, because if we go somewhere crazy like New York City where food costs that much more, there's a different per diem for that. So I always have to tell her I spent this many nights away, and most of the places were pretty regular, but we did go to Anaheim, and then she'll check and see if that's more expensive or if it just makes sense to keep it the normal rate. And that's been something that's been really easy and also really helpful. What's else? Oh yeah, gift baskets. That's something that I've been trying to keep better track of too, because I will do gift baskets for any organization really that asks me to. It's a way for me to get my name out there. It's a way to give back. And it's a way for me to use my business to do good in our community, right? So, but when you do your gift basket, you really want to make sure you're keeping track of any, if you pull product, write that down. So I gave a $75 basket to Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, or whatever it might be, and really, really keeping track of that will help you in the long run. So, health insurance. If you don't have health insurance from any place else, we have health insurance from the marketplace, because my husband and I are both self-employed, and so we can use that. The health insurance that we pay as business owners helps us on our taxes as well. And again, that could change. I think tax law changes every year. So for now, I hope that helps a little bit. If you have questions about how to keep track of it, there's several different ways. What I do now is we have QuickBooks, and so at the end of the month, I that's funny. Like, I would be that up on that. It's always my goal, but I just go through my bank statement and put in my business expenses that way, right? Previously, I would have, and I still kind of do for the receipts as well, but envelopes that were split up by the month so that, you know, it was a little bit easier when it came time to tally what you spent. You could also do envelopes for the expenses. So a postage envelope, and all of your postage receipts go in that envelope. A advertising envelope, and all of your receipts go in that advertising envelope. I want to take this time to say your website fee, your $10 a month website fee, that goes in that envelope. So if that's obviously, you don't get a receipt for that because or you get an electronic receipt. So maybe you print off your electronic receipt and put it in that envelope. Or maybe, you know, you just keep track of it somewhere else. So you're paying for your website. If you pay for cross-border agreement fees, if you buy business supplies from the Scentsy Family Store, those are going to go on there too. So want to make sure not only are you keeping your paper receipts, you're tracking anything you're spending online, and that you're getting those electronic receipts for as well, or go through your order history. And then, you know, if you buy the scent warmer of the month and you turn it into samples and you give it away to promote your business, you've used that as an advertising expense, that goes in there. Or if you've given it as gifts, you know, maybe you put that in the gift section. Okay. Those are the different ways that have worked for me. There's probably different ways to track it, different things that people have done. The most important thing to do is going to be find what works for you, find your system and do it. And yeah, if you have any ideas, feel free to share in the comments. There's lots of us on this team who've been doing Scentsy for long enough that we have had multiple tax seasons come and go. And so please comment and let us know if you have questions or share what's worked for you. All right. Thanks, guys.